In science, there are two types of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. They have been separated since one contained the absence of a nucleus whilst the other one doesn't. There are many similarities and differences between the two which we'll be covering in today's video. The most common one out of the two types of cells are eukaryotic cells. These cells always contain a nucleus and have many organelles than prokaryotic cells. These types of cells are usually specialized. There are many examples of these such as animal cells and plant cells. Humans are classified as eukaryotic. Prokaryotic cells have some features that are also found in eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells may also contain plasmids, a capsule, and one or more flagellas. It contains less organelles than eukaryotes, and its DNA are circular strands that are free throughout the cytoplasm. Some prokaryotes have smaller loops of DNA called plasmids that are not part of the main circular DNA molecule. Bacteria can exchange plasmids with other bacteria, sometimes receiving beneficial new genes that the recipient can add to their chromosomal DNA. The capsule in these types of cells enable the prokaryotic cells to attach to surfaces in the environment. There are similarities and differences between the two, and some of the similarities are cell surface, plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and mitochondria. Prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells have a cell surface plasma membrane that separates the inside of the cell from its environment. The plasma membrane is made from a phospholipid bilayer. A phospholipid is a lipid molecule with glycerol, two fatty acid chains, and a phosphate-containing group. Plasma membranes have proteins and cholesterol embedded in them. These proteins can act as receptors. This means that the cell can respond to the external environment of the cell. The plasma membrane controls the passage of organic molecules, ions, ores, and oxygen in and out of the cell. Waste products leave the cell by passing through the plasma membrane. Cytoplasm is made up of organelles suspended in the gel-like cytosol. 70% of the cytoplasm is made up of water. The cytoplasm also contains proteins, sugars, ions, and fatty acids. Many metabolic reactions take place in the cytoplasm. Different organelles perform specific functions within the cytoplasm. It is important to remember that organelles are part of a cell. Organelles are not cells, even though they are often surrounded by membranes. Mitochondria produce adenosine triphosphate via aerobic respiration. Chloroplasts are plant cell organelles that carry out photosynthesis. Mitochondria are oval-shaped, double-membrane organelles that have their own ribosome and DNA. Each membrane is a phospholipid bilayer embedded with proteins. The inner layer of the membrane has folds called cristae. The area surrounded by the fold is called the mitochondrial matrix. The mitochondrial matrix contains enzymes used for respiration. Mitochondria makes adenosine triphosphate via respiration. Muscle cells have a very high concentration of mitochondria because they are highly active and need a lot of energy to keep the body moving. Some of the differences are nucleus, chloroplast, and Golgi apparatus. The nucleus is a big organelle that contains the cell's DNA. It is surrounded by a nuclear envelope. The nucleus envelope is a double membrane structure that has a number of pores. Both the inner and outer membranes of the nuclear envelope are phospholipid bilayers. The pores in the nuclear envelope control the passage of ions, molecules, and DNA between the nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. The nucleoplasm is a semi-solid fluid inside the nucleus, where we find the chromatin and the nucleolus. In eukaryotes, the nucleus contains linear of chromosomes that are made up of DNA. There is an area within the nucleus called the nucleolus. The nucleus. The nucleus controls the actions of the cell. DNA in the nucleus contains instructions for the synthesis of proteins. Ribosomal DNA is joined together with associated proteins in the nucleolus to assemble the ribosomal subunits. Chloroplasts have their own DNA, ribosomes and have inner and outer membranes. The space enclosed by the inner membrane contains a set of interconnected and stacked fluid-filled membrane sacs called thylakoids. Each stack of thylakoids is called a granum. Granum are linked by lamella. Lamellae are flat, thin parts of thylakoid membrane. The fluid enclosed by the inner membrane that surrounds the grain is called the stoma. Photosynthesis is the series of reactions that use carbon dioxide, water, and light energy to make glucose and oxygen. This process happens in chloroplasts and allows plants to make their own food. Chloroplasts are found in plant and algal cells but not in animal and fungal cells. The Golgi apparatus releases Golgi vessels. Lysosomes are a special type of Golgi vessels. The Golgi apparatus is a series of flattened membranous sacs. Transport vessels from at the endoplasmic reticulum and fuse with the Golgi apparatus. The transport vessels empty proteins and lipids into the lumen of the Golgi apparatus. As the proteins and lipids travel through the Golgi, they are sorted, packaged and tagged so that they can be sent to the right place.